Zombies, Fear, and Burgers. The Mat is a 2007 comedy horror film starring Billy Zane and Maggie Castle. A family stops at a truck stop to grab a quick bite, and all is normal until the worst happens. People begin to turn into flesh-eating zombies after eating meat that came from a local beef farm. Throughout the movie, the survivors fight to remain alive. But these zombies aren't ordinary zombies. They shoot guns, use pitchforks, and even dance. Don't miss how this father and daughter duo stopped this meat pandemic. And this is actually my second time watching this film. The first time I watched this film was when I was 15. Wasn't supposed to be watching these kinds of movies, but a good cousin of mine, Kevin, if you're watching this, I remember you were the one who introduced me to this film. We watched this movie when we were home alone, and it scared the living hell out of me. I remember being scared of the movie, but now watching it over again, not that scary. Of course, it being a comedy horror film, the film was more of a comedy more than anything. There was nothing really scary about it. The horror actually is the zombies eating the people, and of course you got the blood and all that stuff. But overall, not that scary not scary at all of a movie. Actually, pretty funny. I was laughing throughout the film. The plot itself is actually pretty simple, right? Again, it's about this beef farm that has been contaminated with this substance that makes that when people eat it, it turns them into zombies. And you have this family. Wouldn't really call them a family. You know, you got the father and daughter duo, right? Played by Billy Zane and Maggie Castle. And obviously you got the boyfriend of Maggie's character and the girlfriend of the dad, right? So they're both kind of in this relationship, boyfriend girlfriend relationship. So not really a family, but still they go together to this truck stop, and that's when everything happens. So the plot is actually pretty simple, nothing crazy, nothing that would make you watch the film again. You know, everything you see, you catch the first time around. Now, in terms of the acting, I love the acting in this film. Pretty good, specifically Billy Zane, of course. The only other film that I watched Billy Zane in was Titanic, right? That's the role that he is known for, right? When you see him or when people see him in the street or in an interview, that's the one thing that they ask him about the Titanic movie. Almost like I would imagine it's almost like Harrison Ford in Star Wars. You know, he's Han Solo. It's just he is known for that role, right? But he plays a great part in this film. You know, the dad is a very monotone, doesn't really take stuff seriously in the film, and he is just something else in this film. And I thought it was pretty interesting to see Billy Zane act this way. And of course, you got Maggie Castle. I haven't seen her in any other film. I researched her, and I think she was in a Disney Channel, show, because in one of her interviews, she has the Disney Channel logo in the background. So I think she was part of Disney Channel. Not sure, but she also plays a good role. She plays the daughter. A lot of attitude from her in this role, and I love it. It makes the film much more comedic, funny. Now, this film got me thinking two things, right? One, if I were to make a film, right, direct a film, make a film, and it was my very first film, I think I would make it a comedy. It would be a comedy, a horror comedy at that, because one, I like horror. Two, comedies are simple in that you don't necessarily need the best acting, the best production slash makeup and all of the effects, right? Comedy is the simplest kind of type of movie that you could make, right? Do you guys agree? That's actually the second thing I was thinking, actually. So the first, I would make a comedy horror film. And then two, comedy is probably the easiest kind of film to make, because you don't need good actors, because you don't need the best effects, because it's all about it being funny, right? And part of it, as we've seen with Birdemic, part of it is when it's bad, it's also funny. So it kind of works with you, right? Even if you make a bad film, if it's funny, right? Comedy it doesn't matter if you the greatest acting or the greatest effect. No, it's funny. It's a comedy. Is it funny? Yes. Then it was a good movie. So that's what I was thinking. Do you guys agree? And that's why I would pick a comedy as being the first film I've ever made, because you're still kind of learning how to make a film and stuff like that. So you don't have the benefit of having like the best effects and working with the best actors. If you're starting off obviously from the bottom, you don't have all of that to your advantage. So you kind of want to you can use comedy to your advantage, right? But those were the two things that I was thinking from this film. Of course, do I think it's better than Birdemic? Yes, I think this film was far better than Birdemic. Entertaining, funny. Of course, you got good acting here. I don't know what the budget was for this film, but I don't think it was much. Love the acting. Obviously, the effects could have been better, but it being a comedy, you don't care about that stuff. And I enjoyed the film. I thought that the ending was a bit off because, of course, they go back to the farm to where all this happened, and you have this, father and son who own the farm, and they were doing it. I didn't understand why they were doing it, to be honest. I wasn't catching on to that. Also, why there was why the farm was a haunted house. Of course, you got the owner, right? The son, who says that they do it for the kids during that time. Obviously, around October, Halloween's coming around, and he was making a haunted house for them. But I don't think that haunted house really plays a big role in the actual plot of the story. But I thought it was interesting that they actually went to the farm to try to resolve the situation, which they really didn't resolve anything because the cop comes around and he gets infected by the patty. Right? The zombie apocalypse continues. Now, it would have been interesting to get a number 2 out of this. Actually, I'm not sure if they have a second part to this film. I'll probably research it and watch it if there is a number 2, just because I watched the first one. I want to know what happens. But that is it. That was my review of The Mad. Again, if you like comedy, definitely a movie you want to watch. Not really scary. The production, the effects weren't really there. The acting was there. The acting was fair, was good. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time I finish a film or finish a book.